Yin Yoga for the neck and shoulders. The yoga techniques and suggestions presented in this instructional video are not intended to substitute for proper medical advice. Consult your physician before beginning a new exercise program. Nora Benian assumes no responsibility for injuries suffered while practicing these techniques. So go easy, take your time, honor your body. Namaste. So we're going to begin with some neck exercises. Sitting up tall, drop your chin down toward your chest, keeping the chest lifted. And as the head drops forward all the way, feeling the full weight, you're still holding the spine as erect as you can. And the breath is directed up and between the shoulder blades, influencing the neck muscles and connective tissue to relax and lengthen. Taking long, deep breaths. And as the muscles release, allow the head to drop forward even more. We're going to bring our chin now to the right collarbone, so the nose is dropping down toward the right thigh, leaving the full weight of the head to drop forward, and there's no real muscular effort in the neck here. It's just a direction to drop the head forward in. We'll be feeling this in behind the left shoulder blade, so breathe up into that area. And keep the chest lifted, shoulders relaxed. Taking a few more deep breaths here. I'm going to turn the head now so that the ear is laying over the right shoulder, face facing forward, jaw relaxed, spine tall, and allowing the full weight of the head to drop over to the right. Feeling the length on the left side of the neck, and allowing the left shoulder to drop down. Breathing deeply. So with the neck, we don't need to hold each position for quite as long because the neck muscles and connective tissue are very tiny compared to other parts of the body. So when you feel like it has released, you're welcome to move on to the next part, which right now we're turning our head to look up. Even though we have our ear as close to the shoulder, we're now rotating so that we're facing upward. Taking a deep breath. And then we can slowly rotate the head toward the shoulder so that you're still hanging the head toward the shoulder, but now the chin is dropped down instead of lifted up. And just notice what you're feeling and breathe into it. And we can bring our chin back to center, letting the head drop forward again while we stay lifted through the chest, breathing between the shoulder blades. more breaths. And then our next position, we'll be bringing the chin toward the left collarbone with the head dropped forward, nose pointing down toward the left thigh. Keeping tall through the spine and breathing between the shoulder blades. You'll feel this behind the right shoulder blade. Take a few more long, deep breaths up and between the shoulder blades before we transition to the next position. Now you can bring the head up a little bit, but drop the left ear toward the left shoulder, feeling the pull on the right side of the neck and allowing the right shoulder to drop down. Keep the jaw relaxed and the breath full as you remain seated as tall as you can be. Feel the lengthening of the neck on that right side. And then we're going to transition now, just turning the head to look up slightly, keeping the head dropped over to the left, but rotating to face upward. Take a breath or two. And then you can slowly rotate the head down so that the chin comes toward the chest, still leaning over toward the left shoulder. Make sure you take a couple of deep breaths here too. And eventually you can lower the head, chin to chest once again. And then inhale, bring the right ear over the right shoulder. Exhale, bring the chin back to the chest. Inhale, left ear over left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. And again, inhale, right ear over right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, left ear over left shoulder. And back to chin to chest. Pause. And then lift the head up. Now we're going to add the weight of the arm. So this is optional, and I recommend not pulling the head, but place your right hand over the top of your head as you pull the head gently toward the right shoulder. There should be no pain. If there's pain, you should lower the arm and maybe even disregard this exercise if the neck is uncomfortable. But the idea is to just add a tiny bit of weight so that there's more of a release in the neck muscles and connective tissue. Make sure you're breathing deeply. Keep the chest lifted, the shoulders relaxed. And you can experiment with the position of the head or the direction that you're facing. So you're still over to the right side, but you might look down a little more and see how that feels as you have this extra weight of the arm pulling a little bit on the head. Deep breaths. And from here, you can bring the chin back toward the chest carefully, not to use much of the neck muscles, and release the hand from the head. Take a deep breath in between the shoulder blades. And stay here as long as you need to, so it feels like those muscles and the connective tissue have softened back into this position. When you're ready, you can bring your left ear over your left shoulder and bring the left hand over top of the head and gently apply some weight. Now I'm starting this time with my chin pointing down a little more. And then after, I'll bring it over the side completely. So here we're feeling it in the right side of the neck going down into the right shoulder blade. Breathe deeply into the shoulder blade area, keeping both shoulders relaxed if possible, and the posture as upright as you can. And then now you can lift the head a little more, bringing the ear right over the shoulder, face facing forward, gently applying the weight of the arm. You can apply less by supporting your arm with muscles, or you can apply more weight by letting the arm relax. But in no way are we pulling the head. Keep taking long, deep breaths, allowing the shoulders to relax. Take another deep breath. And then lower the head, chin to chest, and release the arm. And we'll be here for a couple of breaths, allowing the back of the neck to just soften back into its more neutral position. You can slowly bring the head back up. So now we're going to just transition very slightly into it looks like a similar exercise, but we're going to keep the left hand holding onto the left knee, and we're going to lean away and let the head drop to the right. Now, if you had a ballet bar or a door frame or even a railing to hang on to, you could do this standing and just use the hand to hold so that there's a nice long line going across the left arm into the left side of the neck. But in this case, we only have our knee. So we're leaning to the right, letting the head drop, hanging onto the left knee, and creating a nice long line between the hand and the top of the head. Keep the jaw relaxed, chest lifted, and the breath full. You can also rotate the head up or down just to feel where there's still some tension in there, and see if you can work it out with some deep breaths. And then we'll release, come back to center. Take a breath. Allow the head to just slowly lift back up. And then we'll do the same on the other side, using the right hand, holding the right knee and leaning away, letting the head drop to the left, chest lifted, shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed, and the breath full. Taking deep breaths. And rotate the head up and down, looking for those tight spots to work out. And then you can swing the head back to center, chin to chest, take a deep breath, and slowly roll the head up. So we're going to work on the shoulders now. You don't need to turn around like I am here. I'm just doing this so you can see what my hands will be doing. So we're going to bring the hands behind the back with the palms facing down and the fingertips touching. If that doesn't work, you can put one hand on top of the other, but try to keep the palms facing down. We'll start here for a few breaths. Try to relax through the shoulders, pull upright through the spine, but try not to arch the back. So think of the tailbone dropping down into what you're sitting on and the crown lifting. And here, I'm ready now to bring my fingertips more together and up the spine, although I'm not quite ready to put the palms together. So little by little, as your body opens up, shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, hands, you might be able to advance with the hands coming up the back, but don't rush, don't push. It happens over time. Make sure you're taking long, full, deep breaths. Notice what you're feeling and where, and see if you can let go through those areas. Trust the process of Yin, working on the connective tissue, letting go of those tight holds within the sticky tissue so that there can be more length and space, and making the joints more mobile. Keep taking long, deep breaths. Take one last long, deep breath. And then when you're ready, you're going to slide the hands slowly down the back. And carefully, without moving things very much, just pull the hands forward and let them lay on the thighs, palms up. Try not to wiggle things around. And just let them settle. It only takes a few breaths before they start to feel normal and better. So from here, we're going to lift the arms up over the head and bring the palms together. And then bend the elbows, keeping them close to the head, and bring the hands back down behind the head and try to touch the spine. Your head is pushing against the forearms, making the elbows point upward. And you're still grounding down through the tailbone so that you're not arching the back fully. Relax the shoulders and take long, deep breaths. Take one more deep breath. And then we'll release the arms down. So from here, we're going to start to prepare for the arms of the cow face pose, which is one arm behind reaching up and one arm reaching up and bending down. And we're aiming to clasp the fingers. So just take your left arm behind your back and bend the elbow so that the hand comes up toward your upper back. And bring your right arm up and then bend the elbow, reaching down for your hand. Now, if that doesn't work out for you, you can always grab a strap like I need to use on the opposite arm setup. But in this side, my hands connect and I've got my fingers hooking onto each other. I'm relaxing through the shoulders, the most open across the chest that I can be. I'm allowing things to happen gradually without forcing. If you have to force, it's better to use a prop like a strap. Just try to stay here for a little while, breathing deeply. And then we'll release the arms slowly, bringing them down to rest for a moment. So for the next side, I'll be using a strap, which I'll take into my left hand and lift up over my head and bending that upper arm. My right arm is reaching up toward the strap, and I'm trying to get a portion of the strap that is close enough yet far enough away that I'm not in discomfort. So I've injured the right shoulder and it just doesn't have the same mobility that the left one does. And so the strap is really helpful to help me keep moving toward having more mobile shoulders. And keep the tailbone grounded, the crown lifted, shoulders relaxed, and the breath full. Let's take another long deep breath. And then we'll release the pose, bringing the arms down and sliding the arms forward, and then letting them rest on the thighs for a couple of moments. So we're going to work toward our eagle pose arms now, bringing the arms out to the side, crossing the right over the left at the elbow and pressing the elbows forward as much as you can. Hooking the hands or the hand onto the arm and then dropping the chin toward the chest. Keeping the chest lifted, breathe between the shoulder blades. There should be a nice strong pull between the shoulder blades, separating them. And if you're not feeling that, just press your elbows forward more. Take another deep breath. And from here, we're going to lift the arms and the head in the same wrapped up position that they're in, letting the hands rest on the forehead. But by lifting the elbows, we're elongating that armpit area and changing the way this posture feels. Let's take a few more long, deep breaths. Really reaching those elbows up, keeping the tailbone grounded. And then we'll slowly bring the elbows down, letting the elbows rest against the chest, keeping the cross in the elbows. Let the hands come down toward the floor or the ground. And here what we'll be feeling is something behind the right shoulder blade, since it's the right elbow on top of the left. Take a few breaths here. Take one more full breath. And then let's slowly unravel the arms and send the heels of the hands away, spreading the fingers as you flex through the wrists. elongating and stretching the arms long, relaxing through the shoulders, creating a nice long neck. And then we'll slowly release and bring the left arm now over the right, bending at the elbows, hooking the hands, sitting up tall, lifting the chest and dropping the chin down towards the chest. Pressing the elbows forward as much as you can, creating space between the shoulder blades. And then breathe deeply in between them. And we'll next inhale. You're going to slowly lift the arms and the head up, letting the hands rest on the head, creating length in the front, opening up into the armpits, into the shoulders. And we'll take some long, deep breaths here. Still breathing deeply. And then we'll slowly bring the arms down, now letting the elbows rest against the chest and let the hands come forward, keeping the cross in the elbows. You should feel this now behind the left shoulder blade. Breathe there. And then so from here, we'll unravel the hands and arms and stretch the heels of the hands away again, spreading the fingers, flexing the wrists, relaxing the shoulders, and breathing deeply. We're going to bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, opening up the chest as you lift the arms, lift the chin. This time you can arch the back as much as you like. Chest reaches forward, pulling the shoulders down away from the ears. Deep breaths into the chest. Breathe right into the breastbone. And then we'll release the arms. From here, we're going to come onto our bellies, extended on the whole length of the mat, tucking the left arm under the chest and then using the right arm as a pillow for the head. So we're laying on our left arm. Now you can lower the arm or raise the arm slightly, but at 90 degrees is ideal, and we're allowing the body weight to drop toward the arm. This is helping us stretch out the shoulder in many areas. Taking long, deep breaths, filling the back. And letting go. Taking a few more deep breaths. Slowly come out of this by pushing into the right arm and pulling the left arm out. And now we'll tuck the right arm under the chest using the left forearm as a pillow. That right arm is at 90 degrees or lower, and we're gradually dropping the weight of the upper body onto the arm as the shoulder releases. Continue taking long, deep breaths and relaxing into the pose. Let's take a couple more deep breaths. Coming out of this pose now, we're going into another one called broken wing, and don't let that name scare you. You're going to reach the right arm out at 90 degrees or lower. So hand can be out all the way or down towards your pelvis. Using the left arm as a push-up position, you're going to push your body onto the right side. And little by little, as the front of the right shoulder and arm releases, you're going to be able to come into this pose a little bit more deeply. By bending the top leg and placing the foot down on the mat, you're helping your body sink deeper into the pose by swinging out to the right side. If that's not comfortable, go back to the position where the legs are piled on top of each other. Continue breathing deeply and trying to relax that right shoulder. Keep the fingers spread on the right hand. Let's take another deep breath here. And then we're going to bring the left arm up over the body and almost like we're going to lay it on top of the right arm. Now, not everyone is going to have this much openness, but we're reaching the arm back and holding it here just for a few breaths. This really helps to open up across the chest and into the front of the shoulders, right across the collarbone area. You can even bend that upper arm, bringing the hand behind the back. And this also changes the way that left shoulder is now opening. Keep taking full breaths. Let's take another deep breath. And then we'll start to bring that left arm back in front of us and then use it to lower your body flat to the mat and rest here without moving the right arm, just for a few breaths. We really want to give time for the connective tissue to settle back in without having to be activated into contraction again with the muscle. So just take another deep breath. can start to bend the right arm, bringing it into push-up position, and then reaching the left arm out at 90 degrees or lower and pushing yourself onto the left side of the body. Actually, I'm going to show you this from the other side so you can see it better. So I'm just turning around. You want to make sure that the arm is on a flat surface so that it's not hyperextended. So I'm coming back down, extending my left arm, and then pushing myself onto the left side of my body. And I'll start here for a few breaths before I make any changes. This arm could be very different from the other one, so be mindful not to press further than the edge. You don't want to injure yourself. And from here, you can slide that hand down closer to your pelvis if that would be more comfortable for your shoulder. Make sure you're taking long, deep breaths. And if you're ready, you can bend the top leg, bringing the foot to the mat, and just letting that leg help bring more weight into the left side so that you're coming in a little deeper, but this is optional. And if you're ready to take it to the next step, you can bring the right arm up and over the left arm. Now, some of you will have the fingers pointing straight up, some of you just slightly back. Just depends on the mobility of the joints and the flexibility of the connective tissue. But any which position you're in is going to be helpful in opening up across the front of the chest and into the front of the shoulder. Make sure you're breathing deeply. At this point, you could bend your right arm, bringing the hand down behind the back. Perhaps the fingertips can point toward the left shoulder, palm coming toward the floor. And again, going easy and breathing deeply. Just take another deep breath. And then And slowly bring that right arm forward and let yourself come back to lying on the belly, letting that left arm relax completely for at least a few breaths. So from now, we can press down into the hands and push ourselves onto our knees. We're going to come into heart melting pose. So where the hands are in a table position, knees are under the hips, you're going to bring your elbows down to the mat where your hands were. So they're quite far forward. Your butt is reaching back and it's just over the calves, not toward the heels. It's pointing up, but it is not coming all the way down. And you don't want the hips right over the knees either. And in this pose, you're letting the chest drop toward the floor or the mat. Now, the shoulders could be in a compromised position depending on the mobility and previous injuries. You might want the arms a little wider for comfort in the shoulders. And if you want to go deeper into the stretch, you can bring the arms closer to the head. Deep breaths into the chest, letting the chest sink gradually toward the mat. And if you'd like to come in even deeper, you can bring the palms together and then bend the elbows, keeping the elbows close to the head. Hands come behind the head, perhaps even fingers touching the spine. And here you have the deepest shoulder stretch that you can get. Doesn't open up all that quickly, so we need a little time to be in this pose. Breathing deeply and allowing things to relax and undo. Let's take one more deep breath. Release the hands back to the mat. We're going to slide back into child's pose. We'll just rest here for a few breaths. Breathing deeply into the back, allowing everything to relax and soften. Face is relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. The hips and knees are relaxed. Spine is relaxed. Let's take one more deep breath. And then slowly rolling up, rounding the back, lifting up through the spine. And we'll come to sit cross-legged. Just going to close the eyes and go into a meditation for a couple of minutes. Just sit up tall through the spine and relax the shoulders, face, especially the jaw. Relax the arms and the hands. Feel that you're grounded on what you're sitting on. Just come to a comfortable breath. Allowing the belly to expand a little as you inhale. The breaths don't have to be very big here. Bring your attention to the third eye, the space in between the eyebrows and the forehead, connected to the pineal gland, which is actually in the back middle of the head. It's responsible for your dreams, intuition, insights, visions. You can stay here as long as you like. Enjoy the peace and the openness.